The Washington Commanders made a move this offseason that they may regret. Let's talk about it.
How I feel? Blessed. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rock it. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about a move that the Washington Commanders did this offseason that they may regret. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We want to road to 8,000 subscribers, so please help me get there as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into it. So the other day, I posted on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, Juan Gotti Talking Sports. And I made a little post and I said, hey, Commanders fans, what's some things that are concerning about our roster headed into the season? Leave it down below. Because as we know, this team is, whether they want to admit it or not, is in a rebuild kind of phase with bringing in a new quarterback, bringing in a new coaching staff, new defensive pieces. We are trying to rebuild. They call it a revamp, right? But we are in a rebuild. And our roster has definitely improved, but there is no way that this roster from Ron Rivera's tenure is going to be able to be overhauled in one offseason. So we are in training camp right now. We've been hearing really, really good things, but as you guys know, I am a realist, and that's why I feel like a lot of you all respect my opinion, is because I love this team to death, but I'm never going to just say everything is good about them because that would just be false. We're not the Kansas City Chiefs, and even the Chiefs have problems. It's just disguised by Patrick Mahomes' better play. So a lot of y'all commented, or you know what I'm saying, and a lot of y'all have some good opinions, right? So the first guy that commented, Slime from Double O, he said O-line, cornerback, and one more receiver. That's it for me. So that's some of the holes that he feels like we need to fill. Shout out to Slime from Double O. O-line, I definitely understand where you're coming from, right? We don't know what the left tackle position is going to be. A lot of people are believing in Brandon Coleman, but how confident can you be in a rookie that hasn't played a snap yet, right? I want him to be the left tackle. I'm perfectly fine if Adam Peters believes he's the left tackle, but also I understand how a lot of you all may think out there, like, this is a rookie guy. He wasn't even a first-round pick. Are we sure this is the right move? And a lot of people want them to go add a veteran tackle, as they did just sign another tackle today. We'll talk about that after we finish going over the comments. So I understand you from that point of perspective. The guard position, I feel like, is one of the ones that are pretty much settled with Nick Algredi and Sam Cosmi. Interior is really not my issue. It's really the tackle positions, right? Because then you got Michael Densler and Tyler Biadasz at center, and then, like I mentioned, Sam Cosmi on the right guard. Right tackle, Andrew Wiley. I don't want to jump the gun, but with the recent transactions of new tackles and new offensive linemen coming in, is there more to that right tackle issue with Andrew Wiley being hurt than we know? Remember, I made the comparison to a couple years ago where Trey Turner was in this same kind of issue and environment. Not environment, but issue, where he was injured in the offseason and we kind of kept brushing it off, but he kept missing practice. He really wasn't healthy during the game, and that's when the offensive line was at its worst. Trey Turner was absolutely trash that year for us, and it was honestly probably because he wasn't healthy. So could we be headed down that road with one Andrew Wiley? I'm hoping not, because again, they say it's tightness. I don't really know what exactly is tight or whatever, or what the issue is, but they claim it's tightness. So I'm just continuing to hope that it's going to go away at some point. But with the recent transaction of a new tackle, I don't know if that speaks volumes to the issue that we have with Andrew Wiley, and do they know a little bit more? But really, outside of the two tackle positions, I think the offensive line is pretty solid. Can it be better? Of course, you never cannot have enough depth or enough bodies up front, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. The next comment is from Johnny. Johnny 91 boy. He says mainly our O line and what's going to happen with our secondary. Now, again, another person commenting on the O line. I just spoke on that. When you talk about the secondary, I would like for you to be a little bit more specific, because when you look at our secondary as a whole, I think we got some really good pieces, especially in the secondary when it comes with the addition of Jeremy Chin, with potentially having Derek Forrest back, with having a guy like Mike Sanford still, Quan Martin taking that second year leap. We and Benjamin St. Juice, right? And again, I'm gonna say Emmanuel Forbes, but you guys know how I really feel about Emmanuel Forbes. But again, I'm hoping that he turns out to be good. Like, we have some pieces in that secondary that is really solid that I think we could build around. And remember, Jeremy Chin chose Washington over the Pittsburgh Steelers because he felt like this team was a better fit for him. So maybe, just maybe, he can turn back the clock to when he was with Carolina his early years. And remember, he was one of the best safeties in the league. And hopefully under Dan Quinn's system and Joe Witt Jr.'s system, he could turn back the clock and have a resurgence to his career. That's one thing that I really don't have a concern about, and that's because of this coaching staff. Like, yes, we don't have the best players, right? But the reason why a lot of y'all and a little of me are hoping a little bit of hope out for Emmanuel Force is because of this coaching staff. A guy like Benjamin St. Juice, is he the fastest? Is he the best? No, but he may be able to turn out to be really good in this system because of Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn's ability to get the best out of their secondary pieces. Like, let's be for real. Who the heck was Deron Bland before last year, right? Who like was Jordan Curse really that good? Or the Kersey guy, was he really that good? Donovan, forgive me if I'm forgetting the Cowboys secondary names right now. I'm shooting blanks in my brain, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. Their secondary has some really good guys, but they also are guys. Lewis, the Lewis guy. Like, come on, like, let's be for real. Like, who is he? But he's playing really good in Dallas under Dan Quinn, because Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. knows what they're doing, and they have Al Hurst too, who I thought was gonna be able to come here in Washington with Dan Quinn, but unfortunately he didn't. But yeah, like Jordan Lewis, that's his name. Like, he's not a guy that is like a cornerstone, but he plays really good in Dallas's defense. So the secondary could be a concern for you, like, by any means, because again, we have a position group that can be upgraded. It's not the best, but what gives me hope is that this isn't Jack Del Rio's defense. This is Dan Quinn's and Joe Witt Jr.'s defense, and their track record speaks to volumes of getting the best out of their players. And Emmanuel Force is a guy that has a track record in college of taking away the ball. What is the biggest thing the Dallas Cowboys did under Dan Quinn's tenure? Taking away the ball. Trayvon Diggs, most interceptions in 1 year, right? Deron Bland, same thing, right? So I have a high belief that regardless of who we have out there in the secondary, they're going to find a way to get the best out of them. And then the next comment that we have is from my guy Loevi. He said O-line is mid. So a lot of people, again, believe this O-line is not that good, right? If I had to be honest with you, I'm not totally upset at that, but I do think it's really just the tackle positions, and one of them may just be solidified because of how confident Adam Peters and this coaching staff is in Brandon Coleman. Like, understand this, right? I said we need to go out there and get a tackle in free agency. We need to go do this, do that. They have standard pot in the left tackle position. They're genuinely getting Brandon Coleman ready to be the number one left tackle. The unofficial but official depth chart just came out for the preseason game this weekend. Brandon Coleman is starting at left tackle, right? Then behind him, they believe in Trenton Scott. You still got Cornelius Lucas, right? Andrew Wiley, yes, he's banged up, but he's still here. So the lack of transactions over this offseason gets me to believe that they don't think this offensive line is as bad as we think as fans. And then when I look at some of the comments on people that went to training camp, I haven't really heard much about the offensive line being bad besides one day. So again, offensive line definitely could be improved, but I'm just not sure if it's as bad as a lot of people think. And then the last comment that is pretty much the title of this video is that my guy right here, his name, let me go ahead and find him, give him a huge shout out. My guy, So Ninja X, he says, I wish we kept Sly Guy. Now, this is what the video is about, why I said we may regret letting go of this person. Because Joey Sly, to me, he had his bumps in the road. Don't get me wrong, but considering the fact that we are now in a kicking situation that we don't want to be in this late into the offseason, it's kind of like, dang, should we have let go of Joey Sly? Because Brandon McManus, don't get me wrong, again, nobody knew what was going to happen with him, was going to happen, right? But Brandon McManus was well out of his prime, right? He was good. He was good, but don't get me wrong. But Joey Sly is somebody like I feel Dustin Hopkins and Kai Forbath. We've had a track record of having kickers that has been mid/struggling here, and we kind of gave up on them too early, or gave up on them, and they go elsewhere and be a Pro Bowler. And I think that could be the case for Joey Sly. Joey Sly has the leg to kick it out of this world. It's just accuracy and consistency with him, right? So you continue to work with him, you know, and he could have potentially worked out for us and down the line. But Brandon McManus' situation, now that I think about it, that had to be something that they knew about because it happened in Jacksonville, right? So when you go out to reach out to these agents, or you look at these free agents, did we not do our homework on them or something like that? Or did we just not think it was that serious? I do think we should have drafted a kicker. I do think we should have had multiple kickers coming in, even if Brandon McManus didn't have this situation, just so we could be prepared for a situation like this to happen. Now we're with Ramad Amaz, or however you say his name, and Riley Patterson. And I hope Riley Patterson wins this job, to be honest with you, because he's the one that has the kicking experience. And he was solid in Detroit last year and in Jacksonville. So maybe we are going to be okay. But I agree with my guy, So Ninja. I believe we should have kept Joey Sly. Now let's take a quick pause into today's video and give a huge shout out to today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. Are you looking to go to an event coming up here soon? Well, if that's the case, SeatGeek is the place for you, as they place your tickets from all across the internet into one interface from green to red to let you know if you're getting a good deal. And right now, you can go ahead and get $20 off your first purchase by punching in the promo code JuanGotti to get $20 off. And let's just say you already bought your tickets for the event, but you already know parking is going to be outrageous. Go ahead, punch in Juan Gotti promo code to get $20 off your parking. Use it while the iron is hot. Strike while the iron is hot, because I'm not too sure how long SeatGeek is going to be working with your man Juan Gotti. So take advantage of this opportunity while it's there. All right, y'all, to close out the video, I do want to talk about the new signing that we just made. The Washington Commanders have just signed a new tackle. Again, this is why I brought up the point about Andrew Wiley. I'm not sure if Andrew Wiley is hurt more than what is to be led on, or what they're not talking about. So JP Finley, his Commanders signing a tackle a day after Wiley and Coleman did not practice a day before a joint practice versus a tough Jets pass rush. His name is Alex Taylor. And Alex Taylor, he played in the UFL, and he also played on the Dallas Cowboys' practice squad. So again, maybe because we're banged up so far and we need just tackles out there versus this joint practice tomorrow, maybe that's why they brought him in. But I also feel like we're getting it's getting late early for me, and when offensive line is something that I don't want to play about. Like, we've been too bad at offensive line in the past to where it's kind of just like we're hoping that it ain't nothing too serious with Andrew Wiley, because I know he was bad last year, but we need him. So maybe Alex Taylor's a guy that can make this roster, or maybe he's just a guy that's going to be there for the preseason and for these joint practices with the New York Jets. But there you have it. Let me know what you guys think about it down below in the comment section. As always, me, boy Juan Gotti. And if you guys want to comment anything, any questions or any video topics, DM me on Instagram or Twitter, just like they did. They left a comment on my post, because I'll do more videos like this in the future if you guys are going to participate. Alrighty, y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy. Peace.